please repeat the questions from the audience. Well, the question was specific about meditation. First question was, where do you go? First of all, is meditation connected to the Hindu tradition? Answer is yes. Short answer is yes. Second is, where do you go when you meditate? I said, you don't go anywhere, you are right here. You know, but what happens when you meditate? And what is the purpose of meditation? And what is the focus? So you heard the answers. So the purpose is to connect with the Lord mentally, and it becomes a mental prayer. You keep chanting the same name repeatedly, and you bring the mind back when it is distracted. So the mind becomes strong and doesn't distract easily even when you're not meditating. Yeah, and then finally, it purifies the mind, it purifies the heart. That is the thing. So whoever is signed as guest, can you please tell me your name? Yeah, why do we so rarely have meditation class? I appreciate it so much. Prior to the class, I did not have this idea. It is going to be that real, though it is online. Why do we rarely have? The reason being that every class is a meditation. So if today you focus totally on all the 6 classes, of course you can't because you're in Germany, but still, nonetheless, you try very hard to focus on as many classes as you can, completely listen, it becomes a meditation. It is a prayer, it's a meditation. So that's why. We can have more classes, no problem. Perhaps we will take it as a suggestion for next time. Okay? Yeah. Another question Noora has?
Yes. So some people said that you still meditate until you reach some point. And I don't know what they call that point. Is it enlightenment or something like that? I'm not sure.
Meditation, the question is, how long do you meditate? Do you meditate only till you reach quote unquote enlightenment? Well, meditation does not lead one to enlightenment, first of all. And secondly, meditation is something that you can do all the time. The tenor of it changes. Once you know that you are one with everything, that you are non-separate from everything, the meditation changes slightly into contemplation. So in the sense that you spend all your time just seeing, Bhagavan in everything. You see the glory of the Lord in everything, and you don't have to spend time sitting in meditation because you are in meditation all the time. That is what the whole idea is. You get to the place where you are meditating effortlessly. But in order to do that, you have to meditate a little bit, put a little effort, and then after that, it's not that you stop meditating when when you have self-knowledge, you continue to meditate, but differently. Yeah. Yeah, I still don't know the person's name who has signed in as a guest. Can I please have your name? You see, when you sign into this Adobe Connect, it has an option, sign in as a guest. That doesn't mean you put guest, you put your name. Yeah, so please give me your name. I'd like to know who you are. Yeah, some people think it is that. Yeah, Elizabeth. Very nice. Welcome, Elizabeth. Nice to know you. Nice to see you. Yeah, because it's confusing. When it says sign in as guest, people think we have to put the word guest there. Or it's some kind of a password. Guest is the password. No, it is not password protected at all, because this knowledge doesn't need to be protected it is automatically protected. Yes.
So yesterday, for the last couple of days, in English we have ego, which you have too much, you're conceited, or you're too willful, and we're looking for a balance. A strong ego is sometimes not so good. Then in Sanskrit we have the I, the not I, the self, the witness, the ahankara,
Ahankara.
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 Yes.
And so, in what ways? And there's the self, and there's the Atma, and of course the Atma is on top. All self. In what way? It seems to me that the terms they happen at different times. Can you tell me what's behind?
Yes, I will address that question. What is the date today? I am recording this.
21st.
I called it A-B Upanishad.
Oh, okay. AP session.
A-B Upanishad Session B. Atma is I, okay? Jiva, another word, is the one who doesn't know Atma, which is the truth of the self, which is all that is here, which is whole, which is free, okay? And Aham is I in the relative sense. Did you eat? No, I haven't eaten. When you say that, that is Aham. In the grammatical relative sense, Aham. And then Ahankara is the I notion of me being the doer and me being done in by other people's doings. That Ahankara. Yeah. So, what else have I left out?
So that's why it's synonymous in some ways with ego.
Yeah. Ahankara means it's close to ego. Yeah.
Yes.
All these Sanskrit terms, very difficult to translate.
Thank you.
A lot is lost, we can say, in translation. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinnavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrinihyam Devaah. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrinihyam Devaah. Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah. Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah. Sthirairangaistushtvagum sastanobhihi. Sthirairangaistushtvagum sastanobhihi. Vyashema devahitam yadayahu. Vyashema devahitam yadayahu. Swasti na indro vruddhashravah.
Swasti na
Indro vruddhashravah. Swasti nः पूषा विश्ववेदाः. Swasti nः पूषा विश्ववेदाः. Swasti nastarkshyo arishtaneमिः. Swasti nastarkshyo arishtaneमिः. Swasti no brihaspatirdadhatu. Swasti no brihaspatirdadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Having addressed the Jnanendriyas, the organs of action, we move to Karmendriyas, the sense organs, we move to the organs of action and we pray to Bhagavan, sthiraihi angaihi. As long as we are there, yadayuhu, as long as we are alive, yadayuhu, as much ayu we have. Ayu means lifespan. Yadayuhu, as much life is allotted to us by Bhagavan, that whole time let us have stable, able limbs. That is, because everything starts to deteriorate. Yeah. I always say, till one is 40, you're fine, one is fine. When the doctor says, you take one pill a day, multivitamin. Then 50, 1/4 of the food is pills, potions and lotions, and 3/4 is food. 70, half of the diet is pills, potions and lotions, and half is food. 80, 3/4 is pills, and then 1/4 is food on the plate. That's what it is. And then that's it, And so things start to deteriorate. Why? Because this is a time-bound entity. This is a casing. Yeah. This is a casing. It's a time capsule. Yeah. Yeah. It's a timed capsule. It is an encasing that falls away. It's time bound. So you cannot say, somebody told me, I'm having high blood pressure. I said, oh, that's too bad. Are you taking some medication? Yeah. But I don't understand one thing. What do you not understand? Up till yesterday I was okay, but today I have started high blood pressure. Well, when did you last check? A year ago. So how do you say up till yesterday I was okay? So that itself shows that even if it started today, it has to start at some point. Till yesterday I was, all right. Today the blood pressure is high. Today I have hypertension. That is causing me tension. And this is what you can't say. At some point, certain things will start to go wrong. Some things are universal, some things are specific. So that is the whole thing. But we pray that as long as we are alive, let the hands and legs and the body parts not give way so much that one is in a coma. Permanently vegetative state, sitting without being able to move a single limb and just being helpless, hopeless, sitting there. What's the use? You have to be useful. And yes, this is a timed body, but you can't just say because it is timed, I'm not going to make use of the limbs, they're going to fall away anyway. That's not the idea. Very actively, let me live as long as the lifespan is promised. Sthira. Sthira means thairya. There is a certain kind of a stability. Things don't start to shake, things don't fall apart. And, starting with the mind. That is also a limb, It's a karana. And all this, all these things. But here we are talking of the physical body. Let it be stable. And then the one who is giving the petition for this prayer, the one who is praying says that, why should the limbs be stable? Give me one good reason. If Bhagavan asks, why should I grant you this prayer? Why should your limbs be stable? What good are you going to do with it? Let me spend that time singing your praises. Stutim kurvantaha tushtuvam saha. Tushtuvam saha means praising. Stutim kurvantaha yadayuhu. As long as my life is there, let it all be spent in your praises. This can have many meanings. You can just be a devotee praising Bhagavan. But since this is, we are chanting in the Vedanta class, we look for the highest form of praise, which is knowing the truth of Bhagavan, which is not separate from the truth of yourself. Knowing that presence, and seeing and adoring that presence, teaching about that presence, contemplating on that presence, being that presence. Let me spend my whole life stably. That is a very beautiful prayer. So, Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu. Vyashema means may we enter. What are we entering? A life of prayerfulness. Vyashema Devahitam. Devahitam means in keeping with the benefit of the whole universe. Deva here is all the forces. Serving all the forces, praising Bhagavan, serving all the forces and the laws, in keeping with the laws, not always constantly fighting and going against the laws, completely, surrendered to the laws. May we enter into a life of prayerfulness, because this is a commitment, so that one knows that one is not praying for able limbs to be able to go rob a bank. Yeah, the robber will have his own prayer. Yeah, what is that? There was some prayer for the pickpocket, and the pickpocket prays, Har pocket mein hariyali rahe. Let every Oh Lord, let every pocket be lined with greenery. So that whichever pocket I pick, may I be not caught, may I have all this. This is not a prayer really, because you are going against Bhagavan in order to pray to Bhagavan. It's like that fellow. This is actually a real story. He was caught selling some ice cream, some kind of kulfi, that Indian ice cream, near the middle school. Small, 8-10-year-olds are going and they're buying this ice cream with their pocket money and eating, and then strange things are happening because they're addicted to that ice cream. He's putting some, whatever it is, some kind of drug he has put, so that they keep coming back, and they're all irritable if they don't get it, and they're all zoned out when they get it. They're falling asleep in class. These are 10-year-olds. So finally they caught him, and then they put him behind bars. And when the case came to trial, he said, "Oh Lord, I was doing this, Oh Lord here means the judge, okay? Yeah, not oh Lord. Your Honor, oh Lord, magistrate, I'm doing this so that I can have enough money to start an orphanage in my village." What kind of thinking is this? Here you are hurting and killing and making 10-year-olds sick so that you can start an orphanage in your village. It makes no sense at all. So similarly, we don't pray for able bodies and minds in order to go commit grand larceny, That is not the purpose of having an able body mind. May I have an able body mind to use it to the best of my ability to serve. To serve. Devahitam here is to a life of service and a life of prayer, and the best form of service is self-knowledge. Really, the best form of prayer also is self-knowledge. Because when I understand this truth, I'm always in prayer. In fact, prayer is no longer a discrete action, it becomes my very being. It becomes the attitude with which I lead my life, and the attitude with which I look upon everything else. An attitude of receptivity, acceptance, and devotion. That is what my whole life becomes. And so, Yadayuhu, as long as our lives permit, let us just be serving the laws of Bhagavan. And then, what else? Swasti, very beautiful word. Swasti. And, and swastika, which was a symbol of auspiciousness. Swasti means auspicious. Swastika was used by the Nazis, in some kind of ulta, sideways put, and then it became the, kind of a bad, nightmarish memory of the Holocaust. So when Swamiji had this Hindu-Jewish dialogue, we went there and told the Orthodox rabbis to please release the swastika so that we could use it from this, and they said okay, because we explained to them this is what is happening, and they said all right. So this swasti is a beautiful, and if you look at the symbol also, it is very geometric. It's a kind of a sacred, pratima. Pratima means it's a site symbol. It's a sacred geomancy, some kind of a sacred geometry which makes everything in order if it is drawn properly. So this swasti, the word swasti, when you hear also, you suddenly start to feel well. It has a very nice meaning. Again, not very cannot be translated properly. Swasti, may there be well-being. Swasti for whom? Naha, for us. Swasti naha. And swasti naha, and the visarga here is not there because it's sandhi rule here, it's followed by a vowel. So swasti naha, let there be swasti for us from what? Indra. Who is Indra? King of heaven. Yeah. So the king of heaven, why should the king of heaven bless us now? Suddenly? Huh? The secret is there in the next word. Vriddhashravaha. Vriddhashravas means the one whose fame is ever increasing. May Indra of ever increased fame bless us with auspiciousness. Meaning, may our studies become famous. Why should our studies become famous? Because, from the standpoint of the empirical reality, we are doing this to accomplish something. So famous means, may I gain this knowledge. And then I become famous. Oh, if I gain the knowledge, I become famous? How? Because this knowledge will not keep quiet. The people in your household will notice. What you are saying, people in my household will notice. In fact, the only thing they notice is when I get angry. That time they say, you have been studying Gita for 4 years, still you are losing your temper. What do you mean people in my household will notice? They will notice. Have titiksha, have patience, they will definitely notice. Because you are not competing with anybody. This is the prasada of this knowledge. You are not in competition with anybody. You are not trying to put anybody down. You are not trying to, show one-upmanship. You are not trying to have a lot of ambition and try to gain something all the time. You are not restless. You are not fearful. And you are not hogging all the attention all the time. You're not, you don't need to be handled, like I said yesterday. You are already free. And so such a person obviously cannot be kept, under the haystack. No. Such a person will shine despite, anybody's, trying to put such a person down. Such a person is immediately known, seen. And even if they are not seen, the people keep away out of a sense of respect. Oh, I don't know, this person is very strange, doesn't talk, doesn't demand anything, is somehow, seems to be very free, beyond my ken. Let me just give them a lot of space and respect them from afar. So that is the thing, the knowledge is like the fragrance of a wild, rose. That may grow somewhere, but still the fragrance is, the rose may not be seen, but the fragrance permeates. That is the whole idea. And so the prayer to Indra is to have that knowledge, not the fame per se. So I'm in the service of this. So let me have this knowledge, which is, nothing but ever increased fame means increased presence. That's what it is. The knowledge is about the presence, about the truth of my presence, which is permeated everywhere. So may this knowledge become famous. May more people learn, may more people pick it up. Because you see, we are not into trying to convert people. Who are you going to convert? Tell me. What is the message? There is nothing other than you. So who are you going to convert? Number one. And even let's say, that's at that level. At the empirical level, there are people to convert. So what are you going to tell them when you convert them? You are glorious, correct? So you are converting them to the truth of themselves. Really, what is there? It's impossible. So there's nothing to convert it, but it's not it's not some kind of a missionary zeal here. Swastina Indro Vriddha Shravaha. It is that, since this is so auspicious and I have gained from this, may many people also have this blessing. May the parampara grow, may the parampara be continue to be there, in all its glory. And may it be easily accessible, because you see how hard one has to work to, gain this knowledge sometimes. Pujya Swamiji had to go to 3 teachers before he understood completely what all this was about. And, in those days, if we go to the Arshavidya ashrams, either in Pennsylvania or especially the Pennsylvania one, it's like a 5-star ashram. There's so many, wonderful things all the time, Food is there all the time, wonderful places to stay, wonderful. And the India ashrams are also like that. That is because, Pujya Swamiji made a sankalpa. He made a conscious intention. May other people, whoever studies this knowledge, may they not have to work so hard for food and for the teaching, That is, may all my students not have to work so hard as I did. That was his intention. And that is how, that is what is the meaning here. May this knowledge be famous. May the lineage be famous. May all the people who are attracted to this lineage, may they shine. This is a beautiful prayer. And may the lineage, may the knowledge be easily accessible. May people not have to struggle to learn this either externally or internally, because this is a blessing. This is not taking you away from anything. It is adding to what you already are. It is showing the truth of yourself in all your magnificence. So may it be easily available for all. That is the, Swastinaha Indro Vriddha Shravaha. Next one, Swastinah Pusha Vishwavedaha. Same prayer with a slightly different, meaning. Pushan means sun. Yeah, Pushan, sun. So here it's an invocatory prayer to the Lord in the form of the sun. What does the sun do? Reveal everything without hiding anything. So here we are studying the most sacred truth about the self. The sun shines. Maybe 2 doors down somebody is robbing somebody else. The sun shines on that also and reveals uniformly everything. You can't hide from the sun. You can't hide. That is why the name of the sun is Vishwavedaha, Vishwam Vetti. Yeah. Who is Vishwa? This waking individual. The one who knows the waker and all the shenanigans that the waker is up to. You can't hide from the sun. It is everywhere. I just read one true story where this 6-year-old went to the first, what is that class? Bible study or something, catechism class, and then came back and then refused to, take a shower, refused to take off the clothes, refused, and just holding like this. Then nobody understood what happened. Finally they said, why aren't you going to the bathroom? Because God is watching. I was told in my class that God is watching everything. How can I go to the bathroom? So like that, That all-knowingness of the Lord is invoked here. Just like the sun, you cannot hide from anything. And so, Swasti, let there be for me nothing to hide. Let me grow to the place of not needing to hide anything, and let me grow to the place of this knowledge also no longer being hidden from anybody who wants it. So, Swasti, so let there be auspiciousness there for us from that all-knowing Bhagavan who is manifest in the form of the sun. Swasti. And then the next one is even more beautiful. Swasti naha, may there be auspiciousness for us from what? Tarkshaha. Trikshasya apatyam, Tarksha. Tarksha is a synonym, a name for Garuda, an eagle, a sacred eagle here, Garuda. And this Garuda, the eagle, forget Garuda, just think about the eagle. When the eagle flies, it is very regal. Yeah. That's why it should not be called eagle, it should be called regal. That wingspan itself is huge. It's just, recently there was this eagle camera. Some Mahatma, I don't know who, climbed this big place where the nest, very high places, the eagle's nests are very high, full of winds and everything, and it had lain 2 eggs, this eagle, mama and papa, and they were taking turns sitting on the eggs, and they installed a camera there and hooked it up to a website. It was always available. Of course, it was boring to watch it all the time because no action happening. But then somebody was monitoring, and they just made a clip of the time the chicks hatched and everything. And we think that these animals are stupid and they don't know what is happening, and we are so great that we have installed a camera into the bedroom of the eagle, and and we are watching the eagles, and and they would have an argument because this mother was not such a great mother, at least according to me when I watched, because the mother kept wanting to go and the poor father had to keep babysitting, and and then the father would say, "What? Again?" And she would say, "I'm gone," and she would fly away. And then the whole time, and we are thinking we are the voyeurs, we are looking at them, they cannot look at us, we are looking at them, and we are feeling so good. Something miraculous happened when these little baby eagles hatched. And they hatched within 2 minutes of one another, obviously because they were laid at the same time. And so one of them hatched, and the mother was all doting and, trying to make it come out of, helping the egg to, the shell to peck at the shell and make it free of the shell. The other one hatched. And then the mother first made sure that they were okay, that they are all right, and then looked around. And then meanwhile, she suddenly turned around and then pecked at the camera and destroyed it. Yeah. She didn't want her babies to be seen by the whole world. Of course, we are shameless. They went and installed another one afterwards in an unreachable position. It was only 3 days later or 2 days later when the nest was momentarily unguarded, they did that. But here we think we are so great, but she knew somehow. She looked like this, she came closer and pecked at the camera, and, completely knocked it off, completely gone, and then you saw some things in space and then crash, that's it. So the eagle is a majestic being and nothing comes in the way, not even airplanes. Yeah, the eagle goes, that is why it is called Arishtanemi. Arishta means no vignas, free of vignas. Apratibadha gatihi yasya saha arishta nemihi. Nemihi means the movement, like the wheel, that which moves freely in space without anything encountering, because the wingspan is so much, and that flight, and it's not flying without reason. There is a reason why it is flying. Why? Why is it flying? Dinner is there in the form of some hapless rodent whose time is up. Correct? And what does it do? Swoops straight to that. Does not look left, does not look right. Swoops, takes that rabbit or whatever it is in its talons and flies away again. So it goes like that. And so the eagle stands for apratibadha gatihi, the unencumbered movement in flight, number one, and then eagle eyes, that focus and the hitting the target, the ability that to have that samadhanam, that single-minded focus, focused on the target without seeing left or right. That's why we invoke the power of that eagle, may it abide in me, whereas this way, as far as this knowledge is concerned. May my flight to moksha be unencumbered by turbulence. No turbulence of any kind. No need to keep, sitting down. No need to have a kind of a stall. Sometimes in bad weather, the airplane and even the birds have a stall. They are just in a holding pattern. Here, no holds barred, nothing to hold. And may the inner storms, the outer storms, all of them, may they stop completely. May the flight be smooth and uneventful. What is this flight? The flight of the self to the self. Yeah. What kind of self? The known self, which is the target, and who is flying? The one who doesn't know. That's what it is. So may this flight be unencumbered by obstacles of any kind, and may, like the eagle, I recognize what I am after and go after it without any obstacles. So beautiful. Like that majestic eagle, you just go. Nothing to stop the flight, because once we have started, we don't stop, Yeah. It's the whole thing is a continuation. Then we have, what is that? Swastinaha, again, may there be auspiciousness to us. Dadhatu, may it be given to us. And may who give this auspiciousness? Brihaspatihi. Who is Brihaspati? The Lord of speech. Brihaspati, Adhishthana Devata of speech, one meaning. And the one who is the Lord in the form of the force that is controlling my speech. So may there be Vak Shuddhi, cleaning of the speech. May there be Vak Tapas. May I know what to say, when to say, what not to say, when not to say, more important than what to say sometimes. Swastinastarkshaha arishtanemihi swastino brihaspatir dadhatu. See, Brihaspati is also the Lord of knowledge. Jupiter is the buddhi. Also, not just speech, but buddhi. So, the Gayatri mantra says, Dhiyaha naha prachodayat. May our buddhi be stimulated to think properly. That is what the prayer here. May there be auspiciousness in thinking and expression, speech and thought. May what I think I be able to say properly, and may my thoughts be purified so that all impure things are not articulated in the course of the teaching. So there's only purity, prayer and purity. Prayer for purity. And then that's why it's called a Shanti mantra. It ends with 3 Shantis. And I heard somebody, in the Parliament of Religions, one time I had gone in Barcelona, and I was minding my business and going to my talk. And then I heard somebody talk about Shanti Mantra, so naturally the footsteps slowed down and I was listening. And this person said, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti is said 3 times because the Vedic people had lot of free time. They didn't know what else to do. That's not why it is. That's not why it is. In fact, they had no free time. They were doing yajnas all the time. Their whole life was dedicated to prayer. You know. And when they made popcorn, they used it as offering. Yeah. in the holy fire, as a form of invocation. So, this Shanti is the articulation of freedom from disturbance of 3 sources. I have already mentioned that. Adhidaivikam, Adhibhautikam and Adhyatmikam. So, there are so many things that can happen where the classroom itself is compromised, or the internet lines, God forbid, and then it cannot be broadcast, or so many wrong things can happen. These are acts of God over which we have no immediate control. No control, immediate or otherwise. Earthquakes, tsunamis, things like that. Shantihi, may we have freedom from disturbance, from those laws that may be inimical right now. Then the second Shanti, all that is fine. Outside, of course, there is Shanti, but then the surroundings, Ashanti. Surroundings means, I told you this earlier, I don't like the classroom. I don't like the other people in the classroom. I like the classroom and the people. I don't like the timings. So many things are there. It is fine that I am here. Why is this other person here? Because I know that they can never get this knowledge. This is what is called Adhibhautikam. My surroundings can start to disturb me. I can, be disturbed by my surroundings, and then finally, surroundings are fine. Bhagavan is fine. And then what? The bubbles within my mind. All it takes is a small innocuous thought. You don't even have to go on the trip of why am I studying this? Will I get anything? You don't have to go there at all. Just a small innocuous thought. What is that thought? What is the thought? It can be anything. Did I turn off the stove at home? Yeah. That itself is it. Finished. Did I lock the door? Ayyo, did I lock the door? Oh my God, I'm sure I didn't lock it. I think it's not locked. I think I left it open. What should I do? I have to call someone now, because who knows? Already I have visualized bands of robbers have gone in and cleaned the house out, and the last band of robbers has taken the house away also, on their backs. And then this is my condition, correct? And then what happens? I'm locked out of the class because because the whole time I was preoccupied. Did I lock the house? Small innocuous thought. And I don't let that come in the teaching situation and hijack me. And so therefore, please give me Shanti from this source of disturbance. This is a Ashanti. So now that we know the meaning, we'll chant it together, all of us, so that we actually pray now. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shriniyaam Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhair Yajatraah Sthirairangai Stushtvagam Sastanobhih Vyashema Devahitai Yadayuh Swasti na Indra Vruddhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedah Swasti nastarksho arishtanemihi Swasti no brahaspatir dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So now with those words we can enter into the Upanishad. Let us try. Let us try that. And then verse number 1 I will chant and you can repeat. Mano hi dvividham proktam
Mano hi dvividham proktam
Shuddhan cha shuddhameva cha
Shuddham cha shuddhameva cha
Ashuddham kama sankalpam
Ashuddham kama sankalpam
Shuddham kama vivarjitam
Shuddham kama vivarjitam
Mano hi dvividham proktam
Mano hi dvividham proktam
Shuddhan cha shuddhameva cha
Shuddham cha shuddhameva cha
Ashuddham kama sankalpam
Ashuddham kama sankalpam
Shuddham kama vivarjitam.
Shuddham kama vivarjitam
Yeah, starts off with a bang. Yeah. And if you see this Upanishad, you will see that the Sanskrit is very easy. Very beautiful, very easy Sanskrit for a change, and which you can, enjoy because it's not, very difficult to do that, to follow. Very simple Sanskrit conveying a profound message. And so it starts with a manas. Manas means mind. We are just going to translate and then we'll pick it up after that. So manas, it becomes manaha after because of grammar. Anyway, so manas, the manas is of two kinds. Dvividham proktam. Proktam means prakarshena uktam. It is said to be of two kinds. Mano hi dvividham proktam. Dvividham, twofold. You see, we have a word like this in English also. Threefold, twofold, it becomes a singular. So dvividham, singular, twofold. The mind is said to be twofold. The mind is said to be twofold. Okay, let us unfold that. Yeah. What is that? Very simple. One of them let us call Shuddham and the other one Ashuddham. That's all. Evacha, like this. Thus. So Shuddham means what? Pure. Ashuddham, negate that, impure. And if it was Sanskrit, if English were like Sanskrit, it would have been apure because that would have been the negative particle. But here, impure. So the mind is said to be of two kinds, pure and impure. Simple enough. But then what is pure? Next line says, what is impure? Ashuddham. Start with the bad news first, because there's always this, sometimes people say, I have good news and some bad news. Which do you want first? And most people say, give me the bad news first, let's get over it. We'll end on a good note. So the bad news first. They got it from the Upanishad only. The bad news first. What is the bad news? Ashuddha. What is an impure mind? Kama sankalpam. That which is filled with all kinds of desirous intentions. So many intentions, so little time. That which is filled with all kinds of intentions, ambitions and longings here is called impure. And then so what is pure? Kama vivarjitam. That which is devoid of the longings is called free or pure. What a way to begin the Upanishad. And this entry point is what is called starting with oneself, jiva. Because what is the single most obstacle to to, to prayer, to this knowledge, the mind, so to speak. And sometimes the mind becomes the whipping boy for all kinds of situations. And here, all that is bypassed. And what is being talked about is very simply put. There are two kinds of minds, mind you. And the first kind is called pure, the second kind is impure. Impure is that which is besotted by, invaded by longings. Pure is that which is devoid of longings. So that is a long discussion about longings. Yeah, that's why it's called longings, because it takes a long time to talk about them. So we will save that for another time and end a little early today. Okay? You can have sneak a little more rest before the next class, which is at noon. Okay, no problem. See, a lot of time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Any questions? Since we have ended early, I can answer one or two so that we don't have a backlog. Any questions? You have? Yes, Dottie? What is your question?
Part of the last one. And so the witness is the state that
the ahankara is put to observe everything else.
So
that is the witness.
It helps remove the ignorance.
Identification.
Say that again.
The witness, being the witness, helps remove the identification. I am the body, I am the mind. Because I am the observer of the body, the observer cannot be the observed.
And that is a cleansing.
That is a
cleansing.
Yes, that is the knowledge. Yeah. That is both the preparation and the teaching as well. Very much so. One question. In the first line, you pronounce Shuddham and Shuddham. Yeah, that is because the chanting rules are such that Shuddham Kama, Ashuddham Kama Sankalpam. So the Shuddham, the Anuswara, is followed by Kakara, the guttural. So it takes on the guttural nasal, which is Ang. Shuddham Ashuddham Kama Sankalpam. Shuddham Kama Vivarjitam. So like this, depends on what follows. Yeah. So sometimes, that is how this. See, Anuswarasya Yahi Parasavarnaha. There is one rule. And so the Anuswara takes on, it's like a chameleon. The nasal takes on the flavor of the one that is follows. Yeah. Where is the question of rebirth if Jiva and Atma are the same? There is no rebirth. Jiva has to know that I am Atma. And in fact, ultimately speaking, there is no rebirth at all. The rebirth, karma, etc., this is a model made to understand this. That's all it is. There is no birth. Why talk about rebirth? Okay. Good question, Vikram. Yeah, one more question. While in the other fields, when there is intellectual appreciation, it is easy to own up to it. But here, even when there is a complete appreciation of what we hear, why the going is so tough in owning it up? It won't be. Starting now that you have articulated the difficulty is gone. It won't be starting now. Yeah. All the difficulties are gone because right now, once it is acknowledged, that's half the problem. And now that it has been acknowledged in front of 50 people and how many ever are on live stream, then it is even more than acknowledged. It has become your prayer has joined other people's prayer, because everybody is having the same question and the same difficulty. From now it will not be difficult to own up. Yeah, because this Amrita Bindu Upanishad is talking about that very topic. So it will unfold it slowly. Yes.
Would you talk some more about I wrote down, I am incapable of seeing anything wrong.
Yeah, I grow into a person who is incapable of seeing things, misperceiving things. That's what it is. That objective. I grow into an objective person where there is no misperception possible. And you see the best in everything and the best in everybody. And I saw that in my guru so much. Like somebody would go and complain about somebody else, and he would say, oh, perhaps they are busy. They didn't ignore you. Perhaps they are busy. And then the person is disagreeing completely. No, I know them. They are not busy. They are ignored me just for a purposely only. No. They are not like that. Nobody was like that in his eyes. That is how you grow into a person who is saintly, because you just stop misperceiving anything. And even if, let's say, even if that person has bad intentions, let's say if this was not true, maybe that person was purposely doing something. Hearing this, that person will stop. You see how you have converted the inauspicious to auspicious, because you have seen the best in them. That is what the idea is. It's a process. Yeah, it's a process, like everything. How many Upanishads are there together? How can I get all of them? Okay, so 108 they say, and by some reckoning it is endless. Any number of Upanishads are there. You Google, you can get all of them. You go to the bookstore, you can get all of them, no problem. Okay, yeah. Nowadays, in this day of information age, the problem is too much information, not the lack thereof. All right. Okay, see you in a short while for Manisha Panchakam. Yeah, is that correct? Yeah. Yes. And the right Manisha Panchakam is now loaded, so you can please download that.
It was sent out.